Hello.
Hello. So today we are reviewing Godzilla 2014. Godzilla 2014 is directed by Gareth Edwards, best known for Monsters, and this is written by Max Borstein, who hasn't actually really written that much stuff before. This is his second film that he's written, and then we have Dave Callaham, who has done the story for it, and he's written The Expendables and the Doom movie. So there's not the most amazing writers on this, but this is a great film. But I'm going to speak about that now. But first I'm going to speak about the actors in this. We have Aaron Taylor Johnson, Bryan Cranston, Ken Watanabe, Elizabeth Olsen, Sally Hawkins, and Juliette Binoche. I pronounced that right, didn't I?
Pronounced the names right.
So Aaron Taylor Johnson plays a Ford Brody, which is Bryan Cranston's character Joe Brody. That's his son. And then we have Ellie Brody, which is Ford Brody's wife. No. Juliette Binoche is Sandra Brody, who is the wife of Joe Brody, played by Bryan Cranston. And yeah, that's and then the Sally Hawkins and Ken Watanabe are Ken Watanabe is a doctor who has been monitoring Godzilla and stuff for years and years, and Sally Hawkins plays Vivian Graham, who is someone who's with him, and they're both investigating all this stuff, and they've been investigating it for years as well. So the story of Godzilla is we first start off in 1999 in the Philippines. Philippines, yeah. Philippines first. There's something underground there, and then something happens. Something happens here, and Bryan Cranston, his character Joe Brody, works at a power plant. Something happens at the power plant with his wife. We're then taken 15 years later, where we're now seeing Ford Brody, who works for the army and stuff, and Joe Brody is still trying to find out what happened that day of the power plant stuff, and some things are coming back from what first happened all those years back. Yeah, just said the story all wrong there probably, but I haven't really spoiled anything, but this is stuff you've seen in trailers and stuff. But Godzilla 2014, I thought it was incredible. What did you think of it, Steve?
Yeah, I enjoyed it very much. Good film, yeah.
A lot of people moan about this, thinking that they were like, why do we need another Godzilla film? Like, we did. We did after the 1998 disaster. That's the only one you've seen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Made by Roland Emmerich, best known for like Independence Day and all that crap. But this, you can tell that Gareth Edwards is a fan of Godzilla. I am a fan of Godzilla. I own all the old movies on VHS, and I love the 1954 film. That picks up on, when they say the year 1954 as well in this film, and they say that they woke up something in 1954, you've heard that in the trailers and stuff. They're also speaking about what happened back in 1954, where there was a man on a boat, and the nuclear bombs hit that boat. I've looked into the story properly, but I can't remember every detail. But that is why the first Godzilla film was made, to pick up on nuclear weapons and stuff, and what these things can create, and the monsters they can create. Godzilla 2014, also, you have seen the other creatures in the trailers. A lot of people thinking that it was like Mothra and Rodent. This isn't me spoiling the film here or anything, because there's been so much stuff online about it. There's no classic monsters in this film. You probably don't really... You know some of the classics.
I've heard the names and everything.
But there's no classic monsters in this. It is all new monsters, because they didn't quite have the rights for old monsters, but the new monsters are really, really great and are actually pretty creepy. They are called Muto. Muto stands for Massive Unidentified Terrestrial Organism. But yeah, it's just, I'm not going to go into too much spoiling there, but they are creepy, creepy creatures. What did you think of them, Steve? I'm just speaking here too, not letting you.
They were quite creepy. What I kind of liked about them was they were hard to identify in a way. They didn't look like a typical animal or whatever you would be expecting. It was a bit kind of a hybrid animal thingy, and the fact that they were actually more seen as living beings or animals than just, oh, it's a monster.
Yeah, it's a nice new creation to Kaijus as well, because this is a good Kaiju film. You've heard of Kaiju stuff before, because
yeah, basically
everyone thought though that Kaiju first came from... A lot of people still think that Kaiju came from Pacific Rim. That bothers me, because I enjoy Pacific Rim, but Kaiju did not come from Pacific Rim. It has been about since like before Godzilla came out. It's been about for King Kong in 1933 is classed as a kaiju movie. So yeah, Pacific Rim didn't create that, but this is a kaiju movie with the new kaiju creatures that are really, really great. There's a good story to this as well. There's the human drama to the film, but also you feel for Godzilla as well. It's nicely paced out and stuff, and it does it in the right amount of things where you have the human characters and stuff, and then you have the Godzilla as well. But there's one thing I want to say about this: if people think they're going to go in and see another Pacific Rim, you're not exactly going to get that, because I think a lot of people were thinking they've seen the trailers. You're just going to go in again and see monsters like fighting, like the creatures fighting, Godzilla fighting these monsters and stuff for the whole thing of the movie. Yes, you do get that in the movie, but there's more of a proper human story to this film as well, which is a really great story, and there's an emotion to these characters, and the things really work, and everyone does a great job. Bryan Cranston is brilliant as always. Aaron Taylor-Johnson, it's good to see him being in bigger films and stuff now and showing that he is a really great actor as well. Elizabeth Olsen is great, and Ken Watanabe as just as that Dr.
Ichiro Serizawa, I think.
So he's great and just says some of the best lines for these films. This is a film that fans of Godzilla will love, and even if you don't like Godzilla, I think you'll still have a fun time with it and a really good time because it has a proper good story to it as well. But just there's so many nice little Easter egg things to here, because I've spotted a few things, and there's things that you could tell that Gareth Edwards was like just so happy to put them in there, and just there's one thing that I was so happy about being in there, and with the Godzilla roar as well, I like that he wanted to properly go out and try and still get the original roar and mix so many different things together to create that Godzilla roar that is really, really amazing. The sound design of this film is really, really great. The
soundtrack is really awesome as well.
The soundtrack is amazing as well. The special effects are some of the best special effects I've seen in quite a long time. They don't look out of place or anything. They look in place with the thing. They look realistic. There's parts where Godzilla is going through the ocean and you're seeing his back, and it doesn't look like special effects. It looks like properly made stuff. Like the best special effects I've seen recently is in Gravity, but this just did some amazing special effects, especially what you see in the trailer, the tidal wave scene or the tsunami scene. That is really well done with special effects. Godzilla 2014, when I think about it, I don't actually have anything bad to say about it. That I've thought into it, and nice one, Steve. With your phone going off, I don't actually have anything bad to say about it. I don't really have a bad thing. Do you have anything bad to say about it?
There's one thing that I mentioned earlier that I thought one or two things were a bit cliche, but I guess it kind of belongs into a film like that. It's kind of like a homage to the original films, and maybe they just wanted to have a few things in there that were... I think if I would properly talk about them now, it might even be spoilers already. It's just one or two scenes that were just so very... Yeah, I've seen this before in other films, kind of.
Yeah, but I think it works for how the story was like. I liked every moment of it, and I didn't have anything wrong with it as a fan of Godzilla. I've been a fan ever since I was a kid and stuff, and I've collected all stuff and things, and as a fan of that, I loved it completely for everything that it did, and it was a whole lot of fun, and yeah, I don't really have a bad thing to say about it, and I know people are going to probably think this is a high rating for it, but I am going to be giving it a 10 out of 10, but you're probably giving it a bit lower, aren't you?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I still could say quite a few things to it, not necessarily negative things. I kind of like the idea that there were many children in the film as well. So if you watch the film, kind of keep a lookout for kids, because they kind of, I wouldn't say they're playing a central role, but it's just a nice little thing on the side that you notice children every now and then in key scenes. Well, yeah.
That's the thing I said to Steve, like, the message feels like it's family, because Ford Brody is trying to get back to his family from travelling over to Japan, So he's trying to get back because he travels over there to see his dad and things, because his dad's still trying to find out what happened at the power plant and stuff. But that's not spoilers there and things. But it was nice to see this sort of message of this family and things. Yeah, and I think Gareth Edwards, I almost said Evans, Gareth Edwards has done a really, really great job here. And what's your rating for it then, Steve?
Well, I would say I'd give it an 8.5.
8.5?
Yeah. I mean, it's a really good film. Obviously, especially for what it is, like for the genre, it's a really good film. Just one or two things that I saw where I thought, well, was that completely necessary?
Yeah, and it's just because Gareth Edwards said he doesn't really want to make a sequel to this, but it wraps up things very well and is just very well crafted. And even with these writers that haven't really written the most amazing stuff before, the script is still really good as well. And I don't really have any problems with the script because there's some really amazing lines in here. That one of the best lines that like when someone says a monster, no, a god, because that's like such a cool line as well. And just like I've said, Ken Watanabe, his character, says some of the most amazing lines as well. So yeah, Godzilla 2014. I thought it was a really, really great film. And yeah, that's our review of Godzilla 2014. I am seeing it again tomorrow morning as well, because the UK changed their release date. I bought a ticket for May 16th, and then they were like, yeah, we're moving it forwards a date. So I had to buy a ticket straight away so I could see it as soon as it came out. But I'm excited to see it again so I can try and look at some other little things, maybe probably notice some other things, because you always watch a second film, you notice things again. So yeah, I will say go and check out Godzilla 2014 if you like the other films or whatever. If you're just a fan of Godzilla, just go and see it, and you will have a really, really fun time. So thank you very much, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Goodbye.